Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here to talk to you about this game. It is called Central City, and if you can probably guess by looking at the cover, this is about superheroes, and superheroes in Central City. So, yeah, I ever noticed that, like, I mean, I've read a lot of comic books when I was growing up, and, you know, I mean, obviously there are quite a few places that like, you know, that evoke a certain level of response with the name, like Metropolis or Gotham, you know. But you know, there was always, you know, kind of like, you know, like remember Starman? I think he lived in Star City, you know, and I'm just, you know, I'm trying to remember like all the different locations. I mean, they never lived in anything like, you know, Poughkeepsie or something like that. The cities that that heroes lived in were always very heroic sounding. So Astro City and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of, you know, this kind of goes a long way towards even just setting the theme from the get-go. You know, Central City is a very, very thematic superhero game. And I can remember a while ago, you know, when like 5 years ago or so, I remember like talking to friends, it's like, why isn't there any really good superhero themed games out there? And now we have a plethora of them. And I say good, you know, more of them, please, 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 thank you. This one, when the designer contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at it, because of my, like, I have thousands upon thousands of comic books and graphic novels, and I greatly enjoy this genre. I said, yes, please. They sent it to me. It is a wonderful co-op game, one that I found that I enjoyed with my friends a great deal. And I'm excited to show it to you. So let me show you how to play Central City. You know, as far as co-op games go, it is, you know, kind of straightforward, but it does have some cool mechanisms and things going on, and some wonderful narrative elements as well. And then we'll come back here and I'll tell you more about why I'm digging this one. All right, cool. This is Central City Heroes, and I'm going to show you how to play, but I just want to show you what you're looking at so you know what I'm referring to as I show you all the mechanisms and the process of playing the game. This is Central City. You set this up before the game. You randomly place these tiles. The tiles have, I'll just show you real quick, they have a color, and the color of the tile tells you what type of test you're going to be testing. In this case, it's the spirit. You can kind of see that up there. The spirit value of the heroes and villains that are on there that will affect it. And that's important because, like, when menaces or hazards appear on those locations, you will, like, they have 3 different types of abilities here. Like you can see right here. Here's Outlaw, a hero, and they have a strength, a mind, and a spirit score. And so you can kind of see then, like Outlaw, he's, you know, got a higher strength, and so like he's going to do better at these locations that are red, that are, you know, helpful to that stat. Also, these locations have little powers on them. So like in any phase, because there's several different types of phases as you play the game, you can spend an action point to peek at the top card of your gear upgrade deck. Heroes have gear upgrades and power upgrades, and so you can look at that. Now on the back, you have here like the manor has been destroyed, and that can happen due to lots of different things that happen during the game. And then, as you can see, it changes. Players may not draw gear upgrade cards if this is destroyed. So, and the like completed objective, because when you complete objectives, you get to draw a gear card or a power card, your choice, and that's how you kind of level up your hero. Anyway, so I've gone ahead and set that up. This is the objective deck. This is going to be flipped over the top card. That's going to be your first objective that you have to undergo. As I mentioned, this is the hero. There are several different heroes: Wolf, Knight, Angel, Warden, Wizard. And so each person will pick one. And I'm just going to grab the Outlaw here, as I showed him earlier. And then what you're going to do is with the Outlaw is, like, if we're playing this game solo, you get 7 action points per round. So you have one of these discs, and you would place it right there on that 7 to show that you have 7 action points. And you'll notice there's a spot here for a superpower and a spot here for the secret identity. And so what you will do then is you have to have one of these, which is the secret identity card. Now, there are some of these that are like associated with the hero, but you don't have to take that. You can just grab one at random. So like, let's just say we have our secret identity is Charles, and I kind of like this. This is like very much like the comic books I grew up reading. So here's the secret identity. It gives him a little power. You can use 1 energy point or action point. This character gains +1 move action this turn. Normally you only have 2 move actions, so that's pretty powerful. It gives him a +1 bonus to his mind stat, which is good because Outlaw's mind stat is kind of low. But the secret identity, if it ever gets revealed, and that can happen due to certain things that happen during the game, you will flip it over. You'll still get the +1 to the mind. You lose that ability that it has. And you can see here this is a hazard token. The hazard deck is right here. When you get done doing the move phase, depending on where heroes are and the objectives are and whatever, you will draw hazard cards for each location that has a hero located and other things. And I'll explain that more here in just a little bit. But this gives you +1 extra hazard because, and thematically that makes sense because in all the comic books, if they know your secret identity, they know where you are or they know how to track you down and that sort of thing. And so you go ahead and take that and then you just, put it, right like that. And so then, you have your secret identity. Now, you'll notice that it has a spot for the superpower as well. Now, unlike some games, like, the hero just doesn't have an automatic superpower. So what you'll have here is you'll have this deck of all these different superpowers, and you can pick one if you want, or you can draw one randomly, just however you want to play the game. So we just draw one here, and his superpower is wise, and he's a telepath. And so, once again, this is a prototype, so there's no image here. So it gives him a +2 to his spirit, which is actually pretty good because, he's got a low spirit as well. So we kind of lucked out there. And so after you get that, what you will do is that you will find the power that you have. And we're going to have to go through here. Let me find that really quick. And this will be like the upgraded power deck that you have. And so like if you can gain these, or if you complete objectives, you will level up. So here's telepathy. And so we'll take these 4 level up cards, and we're not going to look at them. We're going to shuffle those up. And, well, let me just show you what they look like so you can have an idea. But so power upgrade is pretty simple. Just gives you another +2 to your spirit. And here we have, if you exhaust this character gains damage +1 during a spirit challenge. And, so you have different things. And, some of these are more generic, they just add bonuses here. But here's if you exhaust it, you get to draw a card, during any phase. And those are the justice cards, which are these. And I'll explain those in just a moment. And so you have these extra abilities, like so forth. And you'll keep that deck handy with your character. Now, also, there are gear cards, and you'll have to find the Outlaw's gear cards. Here, I'll just find those really quick. And these, doesn't matter, these go along with the actual hero. They do not go with a specific, power or secret identity. So, these will always be part of the Outlaw's bonuses. So boomerang, a chest plate, hidden dagger, and wide-brimmed hat. And so that's a little couple bonuses. Gear upgrade weapon, range damage 1, blast 1, so you can blast damage in the area, and +1 to a strength, things like this. And then you have gear upgrades, so we just shuffle those up, and we'll put those next to our character as well. Now, one of the main things you're going to be using a lot when you play this game is that you're going to be using this deck. This is a random location deck, so whenever it tells you to put something somewhere, you just draw one of these cards. And so the bank is where the Outlaw will begin the game. And so you go over here, and you find the Outlaw's token. And now the game is going to come with miniatures, but I just have these tokens here. And so you find the bank. Of course, I can't find it, of course. Let's see here. It is a mined one, I know that. So there it is. So we'll place him there. And then, because Central City is a hubbub for superheroes, there will be a random hero somewhere on the board that we can recruit. And so we're going to go ahead and put that on the bottom, draw another one, and there's a hero. I'm going to take one of these tokens that says hero on the top. We don't know what the hero is underneath. And we're going to go ahead and put him in the high school. Let's see here. There we go. So there is a hero there. And if we can make it over there and recruit them, we can go ahead and do that. Finally, we're going to turn over our objective. And our objective is something rather simple. It's just a purse snatcher. We have to exhaust a hero in that location to activate it. We're going to put a hero on the token. It's going to be worth an extra hazard when we draw hazards. And the difficulty is going to be a 4 strength, and so we have to beat that level to get past this one. You'll notice that there are certain things like ambush. So heroes, if we are ambushed on a location, the heroes will lose an action point. If we pass it, the objective, the hero players gain 1 action point, and if we fail, heroes players lose an action point. And so now, we'll find out where the purse snatcher is. So let's see here. And the purse snatcher is in the laboratory. Who knows why, but that's what they are. So we're going to take this hero objective, and we're going to go ahead and place that there. And so, you have as much time as you want. I mean, you can meander over to the laboratory to get that done. Of course, time is always going to be against your side. I mean, wherever your hero ends up, he or she is going to run into a hazard, no matter what happens. So you don't want to just, monkey around and go things, because, if you get knocked out, you lose the game. An outlaw only has 5 hit points, and like you can see that, I'll show that to you real quick. Like this is the wolf, and she has 5 as well. But so like if you ever run out of your health, you are knocked out, and then that's where you can lose the game. Here, players can also lose the game if they ever get through the entire justice deck. That is quite possible, especially with multiple players, because you are using those cards a lot, and you have to draw back up to your maximum hand size at the beginning of each turn. Or if you ever fail 3 objectives. If you fail 3 objectives, then you will lose that as well. And so now we have our actual turn. So we've actually got everything set up, and we're ready to go, and we're ready to start moving our heroes around. Now this is a solo game, so we only have the 1. Now, as I said, you have 1 movement point, or 2 movement points normally. Remember though that Outlaw is Charles, and so he gets 1 extra move. And if you move like your max move, then you actually consider to be exhausted. And so, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes there'll be things that you want to do, because if you're exhausted, then you can actually attempt the, like in this case, remember this one said that if we exhaust a hero card, we can actually attempt the objective. And those objectives have those things on there. But, so, what happens when you move is that you'll just pick wherever you want to go. Perhaps you'll want to maybe go recruit that hero. And so we go 1, 2 like so. And then we would be in that situation where we would be in the spot that we can maybe recruit that hero. Because once heroes are recruited, they're pretty much like your main player. You get to use their card, you get to move them around, they get to fight, they get to initiate combats, they get to do everything. The only thing they really can't do is they can't improve. You can't, they can find items, from you can draw items out of the Justice deck and give those to them, but they can't, upgrade, if you will. Like if they complete objectives, they can't do that. Oh, I forgot one other thing. You also have to pick a nemesis that you're going to pick. And this is going to be like the big bad guy or bad girl that you're trying to track down. This is the whole reason why you're running around through Central City. And so you have like Marauder, Hunter, Demolisher, and Overlord, Inquisitor, Raven. And so I just picked the Marauder for this. And so they have the stats over here. And then, 11, 10, and 10. And they have like... if the objective, depending on where the objective is, in this case, remember the objective is on a blue spot, it activates certain powers. So in this case, heroes can't use stealth. You can't, make it past enemy characters without having to fight them. And like in this one, all phases ignore weapon cards at the objective's location. Or the objective's location gains +1 hazard, and that's what the Marauder gives when he is the bad guy. Hunter, range damage 1 at the object's location, because and then range damage is pretty simple. If you have a range damage either on the hero or a nemesis or a villain, and you're within the range of it, it can do damage to you. It's pretty simple, and you can do damage to other things as well. And then like poison wound heroes, when they use a move action to the objective's location, or when a hero exhausts that character's controller, discards a random card. So it just has different abilities and things like that, and each of them has that on there, and you just need to be cognizant of that. And so that's pretty straightforward and pretty simple as well. So anyway, so we've moved and we've got our hero onto the spot where the high school is, and there is a hero in that location that we're going to want to recruit. So at this point, we're done with our move phase, and what we're going to do is, if we're on a spot where a hero is located, we reveal the hero, and so we're going to flip this over. And so the hero at this location is called Mega Shot. And what we're going to do then is we're going to dig through the hero deck. We're going to find Mega Shot, and so we can see what we have, or the hero, what their powers are and what their abilities are. So we have this deck of heroes, and so let's see if we can find Mega Shot here. There we go. Here's Mega Shot. And like I said, it doesn't have an image right now, but that's just because this is a prototype. So we have Mega Shot, and he's not bad. 6'4", and if he's on the same location as our hero, when we take them, we add those to what we have. So you combine those things. He's got 3 health. He's got range damage of 1. And this character gains +1 move action. So he's quick, just like Outlaws. That's pretty cool, actually. That works out pretty well. So we'll just kind of put that off to the side so we know, if we are able to recruit Mega Shot, what his abilities are. And now we're going to go on to revealing hazard cards. Now, when we reveal hazard cards, it depends on several different things. Hazards are only revealed at locations that have at least one superhero on them. So even though an objective would normally increase the number of hazards, that doesn't exist yet because there isn't a superhero at that spot. You reveal a hazard card, a location for each superhero that's at that location, and you reveal 1 additional hazard if the location is destroyed. You reveal an additional hazard for each superhero at the location who has revealed their secret identity. And if an objective is at the location, it reveals additional hazards depending upon that particular spot. So, what we have here is we have, technically, a superhero and a revealed superhero that is, as of right now, an NPC. Due to him being a NPC, if you will, he's not considered a superhero. He is a hero, but he's not. It doesn't happen. He isn't considered for the case of hazards. And so we're just going to reveal 1 hazard card for the location where Outlaw is. And here's the hazard. Okay, so it's a villain. It's somebody we'd have to fight. It is a strong woman, and they're a boss, and they have 8 strength. 5 intelligence, 5 spirit, and they wow. So ambush, wound a hero twice. So that kind of stinks. Right away from the beginning, they're going to pop out and they're going to ambush and they're going to do 2 damage to our superhero. Luckily, you can heal. There's lots of items and things you can use to heal. But we're going to have to drop 2 of these little damage tokens onto our character card here. And now we're going to see if we're going to be able to go ahead and fight that objective, if we want to fight that or recruit our hero. So what we want to do then is, actually, I just realized I didn't actually draw my 7 cards. Here, let me get these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Depending on how many players, you have a certain number. With 1 player, you have 7 of these cards. And so here we have our 7 cards. These are our justice cards. And so they have these, like, they can be like items, like so. They can be interrupt things that'll, like, you know, add, like, these would add to our stats for the situation. You know, you can, like, unexpected entrance, move your hero to a spot with an objective, reaction, redraw a fate card, an ally. Any phase when you draw a gear upgrade, instead of drawing a random card, you may choose your gear upgrade. Reshuffle the gear upgrade deck. It's a Tinker ally, pretty cool. And you can equip on this item on your hero. Discard a trend card to exhaust 1 character here. And, you know, Solace, interrupt, and adds 3 to your spirit. You know, just, these are like cards that you can use for the different abilities as the situation warrants, as you want. Now, if you ever get like a bunch of bum cards, like you don't think they're very good, during the beginning of the phase, right before you do a move, you are allowed to discard a card, so you can draw the ones that you have. So now we're in a spot where we have the strong woman character, and we have our hero we want to recruit, and we are going to move into the challenge phase. We have to decide what we want to do. Now, if there was a range damage, we would go through the range damage process. There is no range damage in this situation, so we would want to just initiate our challenge. You initiate a challenge with, you have to spend an action point to initiate a challenge, and so we would just, you would move down from 7 to 6 here, just like, I'm going to move this up here so you can actually see it. And so we go from 7 to 6, like so, and then what you would do is you would initiate that challenge. And so now we're going to probably attack the strong woman, because we want to be able to, remove her from the board, and then we'd be able to go ahead and then try to recruit the hero, Mega Shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare, because this is a mind location, we're going to compare our mind versus the strong woman mind. The strong woman has a mind of 5. I'll show that to you really quick. Right there. And I have a 4, but remember I have this thing, so I have a 5 as well. And so what's going to happen whenever you do a challenge is you're going to draw fate cards for both you and the defender, and then you're going to compare the results. So let's go ahead and pick up our fate cards here. And fate cards will, let's just see, we'll go here. So they'll have a little thing like pop, you know, and then you'll take the number that's associated. In this case, it's a 4. We're going to add that to our total, which is 5, which would be 9. And then we'll draw another one, and this is for the strong woman. And we're going to see that it is a 2 mind, and to her 5, that would be 7. And then we would then, you know, damage the strong woman villain there, like so. And we're going to put a point of damage on there. Unless you have a different weapon or a different ability or something like that, you normally are going to do 1 wound to that. You can, if you have other heroes helping you in that location, you are able to, like, when you're initiating an attack, you can exhaust a hero to help you, and then that would give you a +2 to your situation. You can also, if like things went bad in that situation, you could use things like interrupts, which cost action points, of course, or like redraw a fate card. It doesn't cost any action, but if we didn't like the fate card that either we got or the other person got, we can do that. And so you have those cards for that purpose. Now, obviously, we'd still have to fight, and so we'd have to initiate another combat if we wanted to take them out and do the same thing over and over again. So I'm not going to go through each process, but like, so here's one you should draw. Sometimes there'll be a little thing up here. You automatically win this challenge. Reshuffle used fate cards back into the fate deck. Yes, there is some misspelling there, but it's like I said, it's a prototype. And reshuffle used fate cards back in the fate deck. This is allowed to reshuffle everything. So if you do this, bam, like you do another point of damage, like so. And the interesting thing is that if you do damage to a villain, they become exhausted, which sometimes is important because sometimes like there are things where it says you have to, like there's an interrogation objective, and so like if you are on that spot, you have to have a villain show up, you have to then knock them out, basically, so you can interrogate them. So that's like, it's important to remember. If you ever attack and you fail, then you become exhausted, which is also important as well. Some of the things on here, like, wound the opposing character, things like that, to just happen automatically. Or things that say, destroy this location, which, obviously is no good. Or things like, heal this character will pop up in the fate deck, which is important to note as well. So we'll just say, we go through some different actions, and we're going to go ahead and we take care of that, but we still have action points left over, and so maybe we're going to go ahead and then try to recruit Mega Shot. Now, to recruit heroes, it's just the exact same process that we've already done. The only difference is that now we're trying to go ahead. It's just a recruit challenge. You can basically spend an action point, and then you have to go ahead and just do the exact same thing again. Draw fate cards. So like you look at Mega Shot. Mega Shot has a 4 mind. I have a 5. So in this case, then I would get a 9. And so then we look at Mega Shot, and we're going to draw a card for him. And I got a 3, and so then he's got a 7 to my 9, and so then now Mega Shot has joined my group. I've convinced him, to do so, and now I have an extra hero that I can control, and I can move around the board, and so that's how you go through that process. And so then I would take, the Mega Shot, and I would put it underneath my player board just to show that I have that. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. Now, the only other thing that I haven't really shown you is if you're actually going to attempt an objective. So let's say both, later on, both my Outlaw and Mega Shot have made it over to the location where our objective is, and now we're going to attempt that. And so our objective total, if you see here, it's pretty simple at the beginning. It has a 4, and a 4 in the body. So we're not actually looking at the thing, which is a mind location. We're going to be looking at what the actual test shows us. And so when we went there, of course, we'd have to have like situations where we would populate the board with hazards and what have you. I'm not going to go through that process right now, but I just want to show you how to do the objective process. So normally we'd have a villain or some sort of hazard that we'd have to deal with. I'm just going to take a couple moments here actually just to show you some of the other stuff in this hazard deck. There's different hired thugs, lab techs, gangsters. Gangsters actually have range damage on them, so if you get close to them, they can shoot you. So there's those types of things on there as well. But there's other things on here that, like you can get one that just says nothing, which is of course probably good or whatever. But there's other things like this where it says homework equipped to a superhero. Discard homework when this character is at school. But look, notice how he has homework to do, so his mind's on that. So he's got a -4 to his mind stat. I kind of like some of those fun things. And it's just like things like this. Deep freeze, it's an event. Ice wound any hero here that does not have body gear equipped. Cool stuff like that. Also, like date night. discard date night when this character's downtown. So the hero has a date, and you got -4 to spirit because they're trying to go out. And I kind of like that. I mean, it actually adds the element of like the classic old comic books that I read. So I'll talk more about that in my conclusion here in just a little bit. But so we're going through the objective. We're going to go ahead and try to satisfy the objective and what we have to do. As I said, the objective strength total is 4. We have to have an exhausted hero in that situation, so we can just exhaust one for doing so. But then you notice that it is a 4, and we just have to compare the strength. Outlaw can do it himself. He's got a 7 strength, and so we would go ahead and complete it, and then all the heroes would gain an action point for completing it. Likely we wouldn't fail it because of the fact that we wouldn't have less strength, and then because we completed objective, we would then get to upgrade ourselves with either a telepathy upgrade or a item upgrade. And so you'd pick one of those two, and then you would go ahead and disregard the next ones like that, and then you would go ahead and you'd figure out that here's guard medical supplies, and it's at the hospital. And then it has here ambush, equip the top 3 cards of the justice deck to this objective. And so there's process here. Enemy characters here gain ambush and discard 1 justice deck card equipped to this objective. And so pass, take this justice deck cards equipped to this into hand, fail, destroy the hospital. So you can see this one's going to be a little more difficult. It has 2 hazard tokens, has a 10 to get through, and then justice card deck equipped to these. A justice card deck has to be equipped to this objective for it to work. And so you go ahead, and because it's the hospital, we'd move this to the hospital in this location, and now that would begin. And once again, we get through all our action points, and as soon as all of our action points are used up, that's when we end this round, and we go through the process of drawing more cards. If we have exhausted heroes or exhausted abilities, we unexhaust those, and all those things. Now, the only time, like I said, time is going to work against you, just basically because, look, I've already taken 2 points of damage. I need to figure out a way to heal myself. And then you can do that at the hospital. Any phase, you can spend an action point, you can fully heal yourself. So it's not, impossible to heal yourself, but you do have to be cognizant of where you're at as far as your health goes. The only time where time is incredibly a factor is when you get through each of these objectives, and you get to the final objective, which is number 5. This is when the nemesis is going to show up. And so the villain's revenge, or discover the hero base, or threat unleashed. You notice it says the final showdown. When this is revealed, and you do reveal them at the beginning of the next turn. So after you got the objective done, I kind of did that a little out of place, but after you get the objective done, you then go through the process, and then beginning the next turn, when you go through the regeneration of everything, cards and unexhaust things, whatever, you reveal the next objective. And then you reveal, and then in this case you have 1 turn to take care of this and to win it. And you'll notice that these are very difficult. A total of 25 is needed, and so you need to be able to and wherever this is, the nemesis will go to that location. And so you notice that in order to go to the objective, you have to have no nemesis here. You have to have taken them out, and then you have to go ahead and complete this objective. And so then time is definitely against you in that situation. There's 5 hazards in the location, and they're very, very difficult. And that's one of the nice things about this game, is that you kind of have to time everything perfectly, and you got to make sure you're healed, you got to make sure you have your equipment, and you got to make sure you have a nice big team of superheroes with your hero team, if you will, to back you up when you go into that spot, and be ready to take on that final challenge. And because you only have 1 turn, and depending upon how many players, if you have 4 players, you're not going to have 7 action points. You have much less. And but in that last turn is the final bite your nails, trying to get it through and trying to get it succeed. and hopefully you can then save Central City from the horrible nemesis that is attacking its streets and seeking to do various bad things to the people that live within the metropolis. So there you go. You either win totally as a group or you lose as a group, as with most co-op games. That should give you a really good idea of how the game is played. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than just what I showed you. I mean, there's a lot more going on. And definitely when you play with more players, there's going to be a lot more hazards out there. There's a lot more things rolling around. This Justice deck, if I can just take a couple moments, has all kinds of stuff in here. And you know, it's like, not just bonuses to things like that, but, like new toy, any phase, draw, gear, upgrade, things like that. Or, let's find one. Hero gains damage +1 for this challenge. So that's the way, remember I mentioned there's different ways that you can do more damage when you go combat instead of just doing 1 point. And things like that. But the thing is that there are tons of really good cards and fun things that you can do. Like here's a bow and arrow. And it'll give you, it's an item you can equip, gives you ranged weapon, range damage. And so there's tons of good stuff in the deck, but you remember, you don't normally ever get to reshuffle this and reshuffle the discards back in. And if you ever run out of those cards, you lose the game. So it's, something, you need it, but you can't use it up, so it's kind of a neat little part of the game too. But there you go. I really enjoy the game. I like it for its flow. I like it for the story it tells me, and I really enjoy it because it's incorporated not just heroes beating up villains and doing classic superhero plots, but it also has taken the time to actually have that extra feel to it of that I grew up when I read comic books, because comic books weren't always just about like Spider-Man fighting Dr. Octopus. It was also about Spider-Man's life and taking care of his aunt and going on dates and having to go to college and all things like that. And so I like that they've incorporated that into the game as well. But I'll talk more about that and I'll expand on that in my conclusion. Alright, so there you go. That's Central City. So, let me just start off by saying, because I mentioned it several times, and I want to mention it and then kind of get away from it so I can tell you more. Like I said, one of the things about this that I really dig is the narrative elements. It is about the fact that it feels like I'm reading a comic book, process, that's a bad word for it. Issues, you'd have a run in Spider-Man of him battling the Hobgoblin, and it was like issues 91 through 97 or something like that. And that's what this kind of feels like with me. I mean, you have the first couple objectives, they're kind of simple and minor, but they lead you on a story, they lead you on a purpose, and then it expands into a greater possibility where you're interrogating some poor clod that happened to be hired by the Hobgoblin to go rob a bank or something. And so then, you get that. Then you find out, oh my goodness, it's like, so, that would be Act 2. And then you move on to Act 3 where, there's a hostage crisis, and so, oh my gosh, so now, the Hobgoblin or his cohorts are took a horrible, took a bunch of kids captive or something like that. And so, and slowly but surely you're trying to working your way through, and then Act 4 is a captured hero, so Spider-Man, maybe the Black Cat got captured, and now you got to go there, and so you have this kind of extended storyline that is actually kind of creates that superhero feel for me. And and the other games I know have done similar things, but this one is the first time that I really feel like there is that progression, and yeah, I can tell the designer must be a huge fan of comics themselves, and to put those elements in there. I've already mentioned when I showed you the different hazards, like homework or being on a date, things like that. I always, and I mentioned that before, but I always remember Peter Parker always having problems, like real world problems. I mean, it was always tough for you to buy into the idea that Captain America had to worry about paying his rent, but Spider-Man always did. He had that crazy landlady that was always on him for his back rent, and he was barely keeping things going in that little tiny apartment building that he had. So it's I like that element, and I like those little added things and they definitely, as I said, must be fans of comic books that they wanted to add those things to it. Now, the actual game itself, I mean, apart from the wonderful, incredible immersion and wonderful story that it tells me, I really enjoy this type of game. I like the bouncing objective. I also like the fact that I don't feel, I mean, yes, there is a time limit, kind of, due to the fact that the more you muck around, the more things are just going to get worse. You're going to be in spots where more of these nemesis, these hazards are going to pop up. You're going to get homework that's due or things like that. You're going to have these things that are just going to prolong problems and make things tougher for you. And so the quicker you're getting those done, the better. But I don't have this feeling like there's a brick on the accelerator of my car, and I need to race along with it and jump in, or because I'm running out of time, until of course that, as I said, that final act where you just have that last turn, and I kind of like that. I mean, I like the slightly leisurely pace to it because, I kind of. It allows a more strategic approach, if you will, and it is like a risk-reward type of thing. Can I meander about over here and turn in my homework, or go on my date, and before I move over to the objective? Yeah, maybe. Am I going to make things a little bit worse for me? Probably, but can I afford to do that? And that's where it kind of opens up, where the recruitment of the heroes is a wonderful aspect to the game. And I should have mentioned that you can only have, you can't just have a ton of heroes. You can't have 20 heroes that you carry. You can only have one of each type of hero. Heroes come in types. You can, you'll see up in this top corner, you can't really see it, I apologize, but they have a different type, and there's 4 different types, and so you get one of each type. If you record another one, you have to fire the other one. But you have now a superhero team, and now you have this group that you can send off to take care of problems and issues while you're doing it. And that adds another level to the strategic process of the game as well, and I found myself really enjoying playing this one by myself, and it's probably because of that ability, the ability to go out and recruit those extra heroes and have my fingers in a lot of pies, if you will, to attempt to finish off or track down the different objectives and ultimately Nemesis. And it was kind of an interesting addition, actually, to the immersion in the storyline as well, because now all of a sudden, now you're just not that one hero, you have this superhero team as well. And I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of the superhero team comic books, the Defenders, the Avengers, Justice League, and so on and so forth. Justice Society was actually one of my favorites, and I don't think people liked that as much as they should have. I thought the JSA was pretty awesome. But so you have and each turn, each process, once again, adds to that story, adds to that immersion, adds to the fun of the game that I find. Now, strangely, I've always, in the past, with a lot of co-ops that I play with my friends, we always would, laugh at other people's misfortunes. And this is weird. For whatever reason, we were always rooting for one another. I think that might have something to do with the whole heroic process of it. you know, you never want to see a hero fail. You know, it's just kind of maybe the weird thing, and and maybe it's just because I bought into the theme as much. But in the past, like, you know, when I play like Arkham Horror, or Eldritch Horror, or like, you know, Sentinel's Tactics, even though it's kind of like a semi-co-op since it's one against all type of thing, you'd always have that one sad sack at the table that nothing went right for them and they just couldn't get anything rolling. And you'd always laugh at that person and their misfortune. But in this game, it was like more of just like you wanted them to do well, and you wanted them to succeed, because I think it has a lot to do with the superhero theme. I think and the fact that it is a true co-op as well. So I think, and so this was a really fun one because it really garnered a lot of, team support, if you will, which for my gaming group is a rarity, and maybe that's more about us as a gaming group than not so much the game, but it was kind of a welcome change, if you will. So ultimately, if you like superhero games, I think you're going to love this game. If you like co-ops and you like superhero games, this is a must-buy. Go ahead and take a look at the game on Board Game Geek and also their Kickstarter. The artwork is beautiful. The miniatures look amazing. And for what I think, it's either funded or very close. So it is going over like gangbusters right now. So there you go. That is Central City. If you have any questions about the game, please ask away. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I'm the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.